I am ready to go. I am seated. Let's do it. Let me read the press release. Hello and welcome to the Eurowhat, episode 275, dropping on July 29th, 2025. We are a pair of Americans trying to make sense of the Eurovision Song Contest. I'm Ben Smith, and I'm here with my co-host, Mike McComb. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Ben.
In this episode, we'll be getting caught up on what's happened in Eurovision news this summer. News has been happening, but it feels like it's kind of quieter than usual.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it seemed like there was just a constant stream of things happening in June and early July, and then I guess everybody went on vacation, so good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them. Put up that out of office. Do not email me in July. I will see you in August. The stories we do have are a little bit meatier, so it's nice to not have like 16 other small things happening at the same time. Austria is going to be our host nation for next year, given that they won. Various bidding things happened, closing on July 4th with just 2 cities in the mix, with a decision expected in the second half of August. We will either be in Vienna or Innsbruck. Innsbruck pitched their bid as Together on Top, given that they are Alpine. That's cute.
Now that they've landed on United by Music as the permanent slogan, are we just moving the slogans to the bids now? Because I don't know how I feel about that. We're just multiplying the banality.
Yeah. I mean, on the other hand, like I would be much more interested in the Eurovision Song Contest where like the theme is Together on Top than United by Music. Apologies, United by Music. In Innsbruck, the venue would be the Olympia Hall, which has hosted figure skating and ice hockey during the 1964 and 1976 Olympics. It holds about 12,000 people. That's about standard Eurovision capacity the last couple years. The village would be about a 15-minute walk from the hall in Landestheaterplatz. And they're aiming for sustainability and cost effectiveness, projecting a budget of 17 to 19 million euro.
Vienna, their slogan, Europe, shall we dance? Again, I don't know what that has to do with Eurovision necessarily, but let's continue. Their proposed venue is going to be the Vienna Stadthalle, which is where Eurovision 2015 was hosted. That one has a max capacity of 16,000. So if not the largest, one of the largest venues in all of Austria. So no surprise that it made the bid. Not necessarily a full cut and paste of what they did in 2015, but they have the foundation there. And 10 years ago, that's still fairly recent for hosting the contest again. So the EBU would pretty much know what it would be getting itself into. The consensus seems to be that Vienna has this in the bag, but I am much more interested in the Innsbruck bid.
Like on a pure slogan level, Europe Shall We Dance has a vaguely threatening aura that I don't love.
Yeah.
I had seen a story about Austria in general has been like, hey, we have Eurovision, we're going to need to cut back on some other cultural programming, where the cultural programming has been like, hello, please do not.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be one of the big considerations for this year is the cost. Budgets are bad everywhere. I think the fact that Innsbruck is pushing like the sustainability and cost effectiveness is going to be taken into consideration. Really, Innsbruck is reminding me a lot of Torino, where it's like, okay, it's a city that has previously hosted the Olympics, so it can handle international crowds. It's on the smaller side, but still big enough to actually meet the requirements that are being put forth by the EBU. Innsbruck's centrally-ish located. It's not as connected as Vienna is in terms of like trains and airports and such, but I think I'm rooting for Innsbruck in this one. I think part of that is also like I did not care for Vienna when I visited it, so it's like maybe somewhere else, please. But Vienna would be able to handle it, as demonstrated in 2015.
Yes, I mean the other factor that we have not been discussing, where has Netta said the contest is going to be next year?
I think she may have stopped weighing in on that.
She's aware of the bit.
Yes, but it is interesting. Like Vienna would be the first capital to host the contest in several years. So maybe it has that going for it. I don't know how important that is, but
I don't know. Watch this space. We should know by the end of August, and then we will proceed from there.
I think either city would be fine. I'm just kind of rooting for Innsbruck. I don't know. I kind of have the same track record as Netta when it comes to like which city I prefer. That it's like, oh, they went with the other one, and it turns out totally fine. So Along with the host city stuff, the other big news coming out of the EBU is that Martin Österdahl will be stepping down from his role as executive supervisor of the Eurovision Song Contest. I know Martin is not the most popular person within the fandom, but I was outlining what his tenure has been since he took on the role in 2020, and what a challenging 5 years he's had to work with.
Yes.
He was supposed to onboard during the 2020 contest as the former executive supervisor Jan Ola Sand was stepping down. That didn't happen for obvious reasons. And his first task, we're in peak pandemic times, figure out how to actually run this contest. And not the easiest first day on the job. In 2021, also had to deal with some of the politics that were going on with Belarus in particular, trying to use the contest to push the state agenda there. Belarus ended up getting disqualified and ultimately suspended. They are still suspended from the EBU. 2022, still figuring out how to run the contest as we were exiting peak pandemic and ramping back up to normal-ish circumstances. Russia invades Ukraine, and Russia gets disqualified, and they're suspended from the EBU. And then there was also the jury collusion scandal. This is like a weird greatest hits collection.
Just like everything, all of the mess of like the last 5 years just in one place. And it really, I had not thought about all of these things happening while he was on the job.
Yeah, and so much of it is external to him. He's had to respond to these circumstances. The jury collusion scandal that paved the way for the semifinals turning into an all-televote affair. He also had to figure out how to have two countries co-hosting the contest when the UK was hosting on behalf of Ukraine in 2023. I think that went well.
Yes.
But yeah, it was the first time in 40 years that another country had to host on behalf of the previous year's winner. It's not that it was uncharted territory, just unfamiliar territory. There'd been a lot of change since 1980. Also introducing the rest of the world vote, which has had interesting consequences, perhaps, that kind of led to additional grumbling about how the jury and televote are balanced. Then there was the 2024 contest. This was probably, I don't know, the breaking point, I would say, for for Martin.
And like 2023 to 2025, we go from Martin prominently in like a box in the audience to somewhere bunkered away inside the arena.
Right. Israel's participation is in conversation with the actions the Israeli government was taking in Gaza. And it's putting the EBU in this bind of how to proceed and thread the needle and maybe not have threaded that needle successfully. Also exposing duty of care concerns for participants and just kind of general backstage behavior of delegations. And yeah, it just kind of put the Eurovision brand in a really bad light. Netherlands ends up getting disqualified following an incident that happened during the rehearsal for the grand final. And anti-booing technology was back in the conversation, both related to Israel's participation and Martin's participation. Like, he was getting actively booed by the audience whenever he was showing up on screen, as you were mentioning, Ben. 2025, some of those issues were resolved. Maybe there were no contestants disqualified at this year's contest, but Martin Green was appointed as director to handle kind of the more holistic Eurovision brand issues so that Martin O could focus on the contest proper. But weaknesses in the current televoting system may have been exploited. Turns out it was a very easy system to exploit.
Yeah, who could have guessed?
It's sad that that's kind of what his legacy is going to be. A bum note to leave on. But there's no exit date provided yet. I'm guessing it's probably going to be August 31st or sometime around there. Eurovision New Year. Martin Green will be covering things in the interim. I checked before we recorded. There's no job posting on the EBU website yet. I think they're also just trying to figure out, like, if maybe this needs to be split up into multiple roles, because he was wearing all of the hats.
Yeah, like, it would not surprise me if one thing that the EBU is looking at on a structural level what is the support system we need? What are the roles that we need someone to come in and provide? And rather than one person who is wearing all of these hats that maybe don't fit at the same time, we have enough people for the hats.
I think back to like 15 years ago where it's like, oh, we're going to the Scrivener's table. And it's like, oh, he's doing way more than just scrivening. So,
Oh, Svante Stockselius.
They need to get Bartleby in the mix. It's just be like, oh, I'd rather not.
Yes. We have hit peak Bartlebying at the Scrivener's table.
I think Martin's done an incredible amount of work. I don't think every decision that he's made has been successful, but considering the level of challenge he had in this role, like I can't think of anything that Jan Olasan went through to the level of what Martin was going through annually.
Yes. Yes. Thank you to everybody who supports this show on Patreon. It means a lot to us that you like our show enough to chuck us a few bucks here and there. We're having fun with what we've been doing this summer. Last month, we watched Kai's musical Gamba Mark. The next thing we are looking at in our AV Club is Topo Gigio and the Missile War, which I'm excited about.
Have you watched it yet?
I have not. We're going to see how excited I am after I watch it, but I like the concept, and I'm choosing not to go further with that.
I have watched it. It's nice to see Topo Gigio in a slightly different context. I am eager to discuss this. We are planning on dropping that episode on August 19th. If you're not able to financially support us, that is totally okay. You can still join the Patreon at a free level. We are putting out a monthly newsletter where we are sharing upcoming topics here on the main show, what we will be covering in the Eurowhat AV Club, talking about the Eurovision Podcrawl, keeping track of tour dates in the US for Eurovision acts.
The newsletter is very good. Your support helps make the show possible, and we are so appreciative.
If you'd like to check that out, we are at patreon.com/Eurowhat. Counting up the number of countries that are intending to participate in 2026, we are up to 17, the spread eagle. Included in that list is Israel, which is interesting for a number of reasons. One, there are a number of countries that are still wanting to have a debate with the EBU about Israel's participation. But getting into the media landscape, Khan, their broadcaster, there's been a long-term effort for it to be completely dismantled by the Israeli government, even before the Israeli Public Broadcasting Corporation launched. So the previous iteration, the Israeli Broadcasting Authority, was dismantled in 2017. Their last broadcast was actually the grand final of the 2017 contest. The goal for Netanyahu's government was for it not to be replaced, but it was by the Israeli Public Broadcasting Corporation, and there's been an effort to dismantle that as well. Israel wins the contest in 2018, which further complicates things.
Immediately throws the monkey wrench into that whole situation.
Yes. Really, the goal is to eliminate the news division of Khan, particularly because it has been very critical of Netanyahu's government. Providing news is a requirement for EBU membership, so pump the brakes on this through 2019. There's still movement to try to privatize Khan, and there was a bill that moved on to committee at the end of June that would move this plan forward. So, yeah, it remains to be seen if Khan is going to maintain its EBU eligibility, which is possibly one of the reasons that the EBU is so insistent on Israel being a participant in EBU activities.
Yes.
It's sort of the last bastion of maintaining Khan as an EBU resource in the area. Ultimately, it would be cable news that would be the replacement if Khan were to go away.
Exactly. If this happens, they lose EBU status. If they lose EBU status, they can't participate in Eurovision. The EBU, like, beyond just Eurovision, has reasons that they want Khan to continue to exist. And then July 1st, Iceland has proposed criteria for Israel's participation in the contest, where what they've said is Israel's participation would be suspended until international investigations are available with conclusive results. You're allowed to compete under a neutral flag, provided you declare support for all of the core values of Eurovision, including human rights for all. Sort of the situation that I think most closely aligns with like Russian athletes at the Olympics.
I know Iceland means well by this, but it really just does not make sense in the context of the contest. Well, the neutral flag thing, that just seems like a non-starter to me, because one of the arguments that the EBU has put forward, it's not a competition between countries, it's a competition between broadcasters. And it's just like, what is, and like thinking of a neutral flag, it's like, okay, well, is it just Israelis that would be able to compete in that? How about like Val from Belarus? I think they would like to have a word, or like other artists from Russia that are not supportive of the current government but would like to participate. I mean, it's just like, does it just turn into a rest of the world flag broadcaster?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's just like so many mechanical issues with like, trying to do that. And also it's just like, well, isn't that sort of San Marino's gimmick? I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's just so many things where it's just like, okay, on paper, great idea. In actuality, nightmare, does not work. Satisfies no one. Everyone is mad.
Yeah, and then it's just like, okay, what if the winner of Nutristan is the winner of the contest? Then like like does this turn into like what happens if Australia is the winner? Like these are not obscure edge cases that we are coming up with here.
No, these are like first level, how does this work?
I did not see this getting a ton of traction, but I think that may have also been in absence of any immediate debate on the issue, even though a couple days later on July 3rd, there was the Eurovision General Assembly and a press release issued from that, which was a little surprising because like it went straight to our inbox. Like they really wanted to get the word out. But this is a quote from that press release. The Eurovision Song Contest, like many other events, is not immune to the pressures of global politics. Questions around participation have become increasingly sensitive and multifaceted, and our members hold a wide range of perspectives on these issues, which they were able to express in detail. Iceland may have been kind of preempting this press release a little bit, but at least it's Eurovision recognizing, okay, I guess we do actually have to talk about this. Also, like Spain weighing in on this.
Yeah, no, the Spain of it all, because like Spain has accused Israel of shifting the focus to politics rather than art and culture. They have called for a review of the voting system, and Ana Maria Bordas, who was the director of content production at RTVE, is also the incoming chair of the Eurovision reference group. So we are going to be here, and we're going to talk about this.
One of the action items coming out of the original press release is that a former senior TV executive will engage with directors general and other stakeholders to gather insights on how we manage participation, geopolitical tensions, and how other organizations have approached similar challenges. They will report back with recommendations this autumn. So I am looking forward to that press release.
Yeah, no, I am ready to go. I am seated. Let's do it. Let me read the press release.
They did not name who the former senior TV executive is. It may have been like TBD. They may not have actually confirmed who it is yet. I also have a hunch that it could be Christer Bjorkman.
Oh yeah, I'm just not... like, is it Christer Bjorkman?
Yeah, and like if it is, fine, but I can understand not naming him in the press release because I could see a lot of people just kind of flipping their lids if that.
Yes.
So like, oh, he's just gonna have his fingers in the pot, regardless of if he's on the production team or not. But yeah, I'm hopeful that this is a productive discussion. And I think it is pointing out a number of issues that even if you remove Israel from the equation, like these are still issues that need to be dealt with, because with Spain calling for the review of the voting system, like it's not just because of what happened with this year's televote. I mean, there's like how Ukraine has been influencing the televote the last few years. And it's hard to measure that because one, like, Ukraine is looked on favorably, I would argue.
Yes.
But what if in next year's contest, Israel and Ukraine draw the same semifinal? You're basically saying 2 of the 10 spots available are already reserved. That's not competition.
That's not great for the other 13 things in that semifinal.
I don't know what sort of changes they could implement. I'm really curious to see what sort of ideas there are. And going back to like Iceland's proposal, like, even though I don't think this initial proposal is great. At least it's a starting point, and they can pivot off of some of these ideas.
On this show, we have talked about the many different ways they have tried to determine the winner of Eurovision and the number of different, borderline ridiculous in some cases, jurying systems there have been. So, like, it's worth kind of going back and going, okay, what is the best way to determine this? Do we need to adjust the percentages? Is the rest of the world vote working, or is that just another extremely gameable system? I have thoughts. It's worth taking a look, because, like, it feels like the current system has been cracking under pressure recently. I'm delighted that the EBU reference group seems to be taking this seriously, and particularly seriously enough to issue a press release that's hitting our inbox.
Yeah, and I feel like there has to be some sort of system that, not a perfect answer, but at least something that's a little bit more modern. I don't know. I think of the Melfest system. It's like, oh man, we're going to be screaming about 3-year-olds skewing the televote in some way.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's like again, like if it's Kriester, do not tell me, because like I don't need Eurovision to adopt the colorful heart system that's over there in Sweden.
Which I still don't fully understand.
Nope.
Like,
Just like please just pick something that's like clear and straightforward, so that there is an anomaly. We can look at the data and point to, yes, this is why this happened. It's fine. Make whoever the new scrivener is earn their keep. The people demand scrivening.
Should I send you the job post once it gets posted?
No. Hardest to passes. To close things out on a more fun note, on the Eurovision YouTube channel, so many things are happening. Mostly in ways where I keep trying to read the tea leaves, and there are no tea leaves to read. The intern is uploading upscaled copies of 4 songs from Andorra. We're just like, is Andorra coming back? Are we soft launching this? No. They have said no. Andorra is not coming back. Suzanne Georgi desperately wants to be on the Eurovision stage, and just no. But all the other stuff that's been uploaded recently are just like all low-performing things.
With little bursts of light here and there, like Maria Magdalena from Croatia.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that one popped up, which was perfect timing for me because I'm doing a playlist at work for our Friday employee playlist thing. I'm planning on doing another Eurovision set. I'm still trying to figure out the mechanics of it, but that song was on my radar, and it's like, okay, well, let me think about that. And as I was like doing some searches for other songs to consider, one of the ones that I put in, I think, was like from 2018 or 2019. And I was surprised to see that the YouTube video for the grand final performance popped up. And it was like, wait, I thought that was geo-blocked. I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like the geo-block for the 2016 through 2019 contest has been lifted. And we can now find those performances without needing a VPN or other methods.
Please keep that in place, intern. We enjoy it. Unfortunately, though, they have announced that the non-stop hits feed will be stopping.
Yeah, I feel bad about this because when that first went live, like the week before this year's contest, I was just like, oh yeah, it's great. It's not geo-blocked. It's a lot of fun. And then like midway through Eurovision week, it did end up getting geo-blocked. It was like, oh, did I do that? I'm sorry. I don't think I did, because they had it streaming in the press center, and I'm hopeful that, well, not hopeful, but it's like somebody else must have narked on them or something. I didn't mean to. But so, yeah, I guess like for the 2016 to 2019, just keep it under your hats, everybody.
Yeah, just like everybody be cool. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine
between us, okay?
Watch those a normal amount. Don't cause any spikes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Eurowhat. Thanks for listening. The Eurowhat podcast is hosted by Ben Smith, that's me, and Mike McComb.
That's me. You can find our full archive of episodes on our website at eurowhat.com. You can also find us and follow us over on Blue Sky at Eurowhat.
Next time on the Eurowhat, Tarkastelemme kilpailun kielisanon historia.